with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's be free Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me this morning. My name is Tantalaya, and my YouTube channel is Craft with Tea. And my video for the summit is using colored pencils, and these were the cards that I made. And I want to go back because there were some questions, or not questions, but some comments. Thank you guys. Hello from Indiana. Hello from Germany and California. Thank you guys all for being here. And I saw how people were enjoying learning about the color pencils with the Gamsol. Yes. The one thing that I loved the most once I found out about Gamsol was that it makes the colored pencils look so much smoother on your project. The thing I didn't like was how it just looked unfinished, the movement of the pencil, it just looked like it wasn't quite done, like I didn't want to send it to somebody because it just felt like it was just like me being a little kid coloring, you know what I mean? But with the Gamsol, it smooths it out in such a way that it's just, I think it steps it up, you know what I mean? And it heightens the final project. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you so much. What was the product you used to clean your stamps called? I have a couple of things. I have one that is called Squeaky Clean. This was from Brutus and Monroe. This is honeysuckle scent. I don't know if they still have it or not, but I'm not sure. I can't remember if I used that or this one. This is an old one from AC Moore. Can we throw it back? And this was from Ranger, the water-based stamp cleaner. I also use this. Let me see. Oh, thank you, Barbara. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the Easter card. um, what's a good place to get the Gamsol? I used it years ago, but don't seem to have it since we moved. Well, Carlos, I found it at Hobby Lobby. You can get it there. You can also get Gamsol at Michael's. So a lot of the art supply places would have it. If you do more of your shopping online, you could even get it off of Amazon. So it's definitely it's around the circuit, so you can get to it for sure. Let's see. How or can you use Gamsol to add shading like under the lapel? Yes. Now, with this one, um, how do I explain? Yes, you can. The what you would do is just use darken or like a shadow color from your color pencil, right? And then you put that as a line underneath the lapel, and then use your Gamsol to just smooth it out, and that would create the shadow underneath if you wanted to go that detailed. My YouTube channel name is Craft with T because my nickname is T. So it was Craft with me basically. Um, let me see. And then I have another question. Who's going so fast? What type of paper do you use with color pencils? Um, with colored pencils, I use whatever I have in my stash. I don't think that it has to be as specific as if you're using like Copic markers or um watercolor markers, like stuff like that, because it's a much more um wet consistency. With the colored pencils and Gamsol dries quickly. So it's more like what do they call it? A mineral spirit. So it dries quicker. It's not like watercolor where it's a saturated wetness, if that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Prismacolor pencils. Yep. You can use it with those too. How do you use the Gamsol on metallic pencils? Mine always turn a weird dark color. Well, with that, I would say definitely test it, because the metallic material in the pencil, it might be what's causing it to go to a weird darker color, because not knowing what they put in to make it metallic. Do you know what I mean? So it might be counteractive with the Gamsol. So with that one, you might have to just leave the metallic ones more as themselves. All right. Could you add more color pencils to the image once you use Gamsol? Yes. Yeah. You can, like the other person was asking about the shading. So once you've gone through, if you wanted to add more dark color, you would just go back in with more pencil. Yeah. You can totally layer it. Hmm. Are there other uses for Gamsol? I want to say if you're into oil painting, it's like um, the same product that you would use on your oil paints, if I'm not mistaken. But I only use it for my color pencils. Let's see. What stamp set is the bunny from? Oh, yes. I loved your class. You clearly explained. Oh, thank you. The bunny came from Stampers Anonymous. It was one with Tim Holtz. And he just looked so dapper, right? I loved how he looked. So as soon as I saw him, I was like, Easter, yeah, let me get some Easter stuff. And I don't even like make cards for Easter normally, but I just thought they were so cute. Okay. Hi, T. You have inspired me to get back into coloring. I've been out of crafting for several years, and this is the first I have engaged, and I'm having so much fun. Oh, Angel, that's awesome. I love it. And you know what? I go through ups and downs with coloring myself. I actually, speaking of my YouTube channel, on my channel, I have a series that I've reinstated called Technique Tuesday. And it's one of those things that I've always loved, and I want to share with people because I love watercoloring more so than markers. I love watercoloring, and I love, the colored pencils. Those are like my two favorite mediums. Oh, how often do you craft? I craft usually every day for a period of time because it's my downtime from work. I work in retail, so it can be stressful. So when I get home, I use the craft room just to kind of like, bring it down and relax before having to go to bed and start it all over again. Let's see. What's my favorite crafty tool? Oh, my favorite crafty tool is probably my heat tools. So, because I love embossing, I love doing mixed media. And so I tend to I keep these really close by so I can just grab them really quick. And this one I use for more of my just regular embossing. And I like this one for when I'm doing mixed media because it spreads the heat. This one has a wider mouth, so the heat spreads more, and so I can dry my whole project a little bit quicker. So these are probably my favorite tools and the ones I use the most. All right. What is your favorite medium to use on your projects? Oh, I probably use right now currently because we all fluctuate, but I love my spritz, the new spritz from Tim Holtz. And I love splatters. That tends to be my signature thing that I do at the end of my projects. I did it on the cards, the black splatters that I did. That was using the black soot, the stress stain. And I really do. I enjoy the splatters. It just caps it for me. I know not everybody likes them, but I find it a great way to like kind of end my project. Let me see. Do you have a favorite color? Yeah. My favorite color is pink, but you got to use other colors when you're crafting. So, but I would use pink on anything and everything if I could. Um, How long did it take you to color the bunny? It was super sped up. Yes. It doesn't take long. I think the longest part actually was setting up the card, right? So doing the masking tape and stamping everything, that was the longest part. The coloring probably took I would say maybe 15 minutes, if that. Probably not that long because once I picked out my colors, it just went boom, 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 boom. It really didn't take long at all. Do I use drying racks? Drying racks. No, I don't use drying racks. I didn't even know that was an option. Usually I use my heat tools if it's during a live and I have something else that I can work on, I'll put it to the side and just let it kind of air dry while I'm working on a project. Oh, yeah. Is there a substitute for Gamsol? I want to say I've known or I've heard people use baby oil, but I've never used it, so I can't tell you if it works well or not. I just found it easier to get the mineral spirits because you really can get it anywhere that sells like art supplies. Usually they have it there. Now Walmart, I don't know if they would have it because it's a little bit more like um not your just, oh, I'm gonna start coloring type of material. Do you know what I mean? Like you go in for it. The Gamsol is used to, oh, hold on. I'm guessing the Gamsol helps blends the pencil streaks. Yes, that's exactly what the Gamsol does. It takes um, the wax from the pencil and it smooths it out, right? So it breaks down that material to make it smooth. I saw, do I have a favorite watercolor set? Any fun crafty hack you can share? Ooh, that's an interesting question. Crafty hack. Let me think about that one. But my favorite watercolor paint set, I have gotten into using gouache. And I don't know if you guys know what gouache is, but with the gouache, I created my own using because it comes in like tubes. Hold on. I'm gonna show you. So just like with watercolors, gouache can come in tubes as well. And the best part about watercolors is that you can create your own palette, because once it dries out, all you do is add water and it reactivates the paint. Okay. And I'm trying to get to one of my palettes. Give me 1 second. Oh. So I bought this off of like Amazon, and then I created my own palette, put my colors in, let it dry. Sometimes it does crack, don't worry. It's still, you can just add water and go to town. So just because it cracks, you can still use them. Let's see. What do I do with my scraps? Yes. The scraps of paper, it all depends on the size. I don't keep every scrap. If it's small, I'm like, you're out of here. If it's a large piece, like half of a 12 by 12 or 6 by 6, like smaller pieces, then I save it with the collection. I try to keep everything with the collection that I'm using it with. Let me see. How do you blend your colors? I'm trying to blend Prismacolors that are one number different. Okay, violet and violet blue, and they are just different enough uh, that it's tough. I was hoping for a darker value. Got it. So you're trying to use the two colors to make it a darker shade that you don't have. Um, Yeah. Okay. So in that case, you may have to practice it off the actual project, but what I would do is either start with the blue violet, put that color down first, and then put the other one on top. Yeah, because you might want it's gonna be one of the ways. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's starting with the darker shade and doing that one as a light color and then using the other one on top, or reversing that. And then hopefully that would allow it to blend more. But you should be able to go right on top. You can also try using the Gamsol. Put the one color down, use the Gamsol, let it dry, and then go on top with the other color, and then use the Gamsol and see if it darkens it. Yes, it is flammable, and you need to make sure that you have good ventilation. Yep, I'm pretty sure Gamble is flammable. I would not use a heat gun or anything like it to dry it. No, no, you don't have to, because with the Gamsol, it dries quickly. You don't need a heat tool to dry Gamsol. Gamsol is literally like once you put it on the project and it like smooths it out, by the time you go back to it, it's probably dry. Yes, Kathy, that is gouache in the tray. So basically, all I did was I squeezed my tube paint into the little squares, and then I let it dry like overnight, maybe even a couple of days. And then I closed it up and put it away. And now, whenever I need it, all I have to do is I can grab one of my, you know, water pens, because y'all saw how cracked that was. But all you do is add a little water. And it wets it right back up. And then you can use your paints. And these were very dry. So, yeah. That's what I love about watercolors. But any watercolor paints, you can start with what's that company? Ooh, I'm gonna get it. Hold on 1 second. Arteza, which is pretty inexpensive. You can get a bunch of watercolor gouache colors from them off of Amazon to play with, and just put it in a palette and let it dry. You'll have access to it. You'll never get through it all. You won't. Because once you have even just a little bit, if it dries, you just keep re-wetting it. All right. Oh, the difference between gouache and watercolors is their opacity. Gouache is not as see-through, I guess, is as regular watercolors, right? So watercolors are very light. They're that's what makes them easy to blend and move and stuff. And gouache is very much like on dark paper. Look how dark that is. Whereas with watercolor on dark paper, it would be like a dye ink on dark paper where it goes away and you can't see it. You need that white paper to be able to see the watercolor. That gouache is like that. Gouache is like the oxide of watercolors. If you play with oxide inks, um, gouache is like that. Okay. Do you use regular tap water, filtered, or distilled with watercolor? Does it matter? I'm sure if you talk to somebody who's really like profession at it, it probably matters. For me, I just grab whatever's in my little brush is probably tap water, and I just have fun. You know what I mean? I don't make it complicated. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Ooh, it's a wrap already, you guys. So thank you so much for joining me this morning. Please check out my YouTube channel, The Craft with Me. And I look forward to, hopefully getting to see you guys more in my community. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the summit. Bye.